Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to make a tumbler inspired by this beautiful scarf that I received from RESINERS. RESINERS sent me a bunch of wonderful gifts for Christmas. This was one of them. They're one of the companies that I work with pretty frequently on the channel. I am an affiliate of theirs. But I wanted to make a tumbler inspired by this design because I thought it was really beautiful. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to be making 2 of these today because it's my first time attempting this design, and I want to have a backup in case I mess up. The glitter color that I'm using today is called Pearl. You can find it at myramakes.com. It's Batty Glitter. Also not shown, I did sprinkle in Marques Diamond, another chunky glitter of hers, but I forgot to include that in the video. I'm very sorry. I've already mixed 60 milliliters of my Flynn Sisters Fast Cure Epoxy, and we're going to be splitting that amongst 2 different 20-ounce tumblers. So if you were only making 1 cup, you'd only have to mix about 30 milliliters of epoxy. The goal here is we want to get a sparkly coat really quickly without having to glitter the cup and then smooth that out with a couple coats of epoxy. I'm trying to get this done quickly, and I'm going to be covering up a lot of this glitter, so it doesn't really matter too much how we lay this on. I just need a sparkly undercoat. So let's go ahead and get that started. I've got these cups already sanded to prep, and I did tape off my bottoms. If you need help on how or why to prep your cups and how or why we would tape off the bottoms, I've got some beginner videos that I'll link down in the description box that I think you'll find helpful. I'm going to spread on this epoxy like I normally would, but we really want to make sure we get a pretty heavy coat. Not so heavy-handed that we are like gloopy-gobby all over the place, but enough to where that glitter evenly coats the whole cup without any kind of streaks or anything. It's kind of harder than it looks, but it's important to strike the right balance with your glitter saturation and the amount of epoxy. So you'll notice I'm using 30 milliliters for one 20-ounce cup. That's normally quite a bit to cover a 20-ounce cup, but we want to make sure that the glitter flows freely so it has enough time to self-level and even out. So once I spread that onto the cup, I'm going to make sure everything's nice and even and I've got everything coated. And then I'm going to hit it with my torch to pop any remaining bubbles. And I'm going to let this sit for about 20-30 minutes. I'm going to remove the tape from the bottom, don't forget. And then this is going to dry for a couple hours before we move on to the next step. Remember, your dry time may vary based on the type and brand of epoxy that you're using. Once our epoxy is fully dry, we're going to start applying the masking tape, which we're going to be using as our template for the mountain range silhouettes. I'm going to be placing a single layer of masking tape all the way up the cup, and you want to make sure that your strips of masking tape are kind of neatly in line and each one overlaps. So you'll have about a 1/4 inch overlap per row of tape. It doesn't have to be exact, but we don't want the tape to be super wrinkly or messed up because we're going to be cutting out sections of it one at a time, and in some instances we'll be replacing the tape and then removing it again later. So you want to make sure your tape is nicely placed. If you wanted to use removable vinyl for this step, you certainly could, but I just think that would be a lot of additional steps and hassle, and I think wrapping the tape is easy enough. Next, I'm going to start drawing the lines for our mountain silhouettes using a pencil. It's important to use a pencil for this step in case you mess up. If you're more confident with a Sharpie, that's fine. I would use the Sharpie after pencil so you can kind of rough draft first. But what I'm establishing with this first layer is the bottom mountain range, where we'll have kind of like a split mountain shape. We'll first draw the initial mountain shape, and then we'll draw a line down the middle of it, kind of at an angle. And that's going to be one dark side of the mountain, and then we'll have one light side of the mountain. I hope that makes sense. I wish you guys could see the lines that I'm drawing better. If I can go back and record this video, I would probably go over these and draw them in Sharpie. But I'm really trying to emulate the lines that you're seeing on that scarf design. So on that scarf design, you see the initial mountain range in the foreground, or I guess that would be like the focal point. And then the next line of mountains will be, I guess, the foreground layer of mountains, where it's just kind of like a squiggly line here and there. And then a couple inches above that, I'll put the midground line of mountain silhouette. And then a couple inches above that, I'll put the background mountain layer silhouette. This is a lot to talk out, okay? And then once I have all those lines drawn out, I'll just kind of make sure that they kind of look natural and evenly placed. Also consider the gradient of paint that you want to use and how many colors. So if you're only using like 3 colors in your gradient, then you'd probably only want 3 or 4 layers in your mountain silhouette, if that makes sense. Once I have that all drafted out in pencil, I'm going to go over it with a X-Acto knife. Remember that mountain silhouettes are an organic shape, so this doesn't really have to be perfect, and you don't have to have a lot of skill to draw and trace this with the knife. It doesn't have to be perfect. In our first mountain section, we're going to remove 1/2 of that mountain shape, and then we're going to save the masking tape, because we're going to need to tape over it after we paint the dark side with paint. I know that's a lot, but when you guys see what I'm doing, it'll all make sense, all right? It's important that we save these tape sections because we do need to tape back over the dark sides of our mountains for when we're spraying the foreground mountain silhouette, all right? And I'm just saving that masking tape on a piece of scrap paper backing from some transfer tape, so any kind of like sticker paper tape. You guys know what I'm talking about. You're crafters. Okay. So just save that masking tape, put it off to the side on your table or somewhere where you're not going to lose it. Once I have safely removed all of the dark side of our mountain silhouette shapes and set them aside, we're going to tape off the bottom of our cup really quick. If you're not taping off the bottom of your cup, you can skip this step. And again, I will include a video down below that will explain how and why we would tape off the bottom of our cups. But anyway, it's important to do it on this step because we are going to be doing some spray painting on that dark side of the mountain, and we don't want any spray paint getting it where it's not supposed to be. Once I have all that masking done, I'm going to take this over to my spray booth and I'm going to spray the first dark color on our mountain. I did go back and spray a lighter color underneath, like at the bottom section of the mountain, and I forgot to record that because, again, this was my first time making this cup, so I apologize. But I used Stamped Passport from ColorShot on the top of the mountain, and I used Scuba on the bottom. I just kind of did a quick spray. Really quick spray is all you need, okay? Just a quick shot. It's okay if you don't get full coverage because we actually want some of that glitter below shining through. Once my paint is totally dry, I am going to replace my dark side mountain silhouette tape sections that we removed and set aside earlier. Before we can spray that next section, we do have to go over the silhouette line that we drew earlier with our pencil with a craft knife. So I'm just going to do that really quick. Also, be sure to cut against what will be the glitter side of our mountain so that taped section comes off all in one piece. And then we're going to take that over to our spray booth and spray our next color, which will be our lightest color in the gradient. In this case, I'm using Scuba from ColorShot. When we're spray painting this section, it's very important that we're only aiming at the bottom of that taped section so that we don't overspray into the top of the mountain at the bottom. I hope that makes sense. I want some of that glitter showing through the bottom of this section so it looks like kind of sun cresting the mountain. So we're just going to do little quick shots of spray paint right there at that horizon line. And then as soon as that's dry, we can go ahead and repeat that same step of running our craft knife over that drawn line that we made earlier for our mid-ground mountain silhouette section. We'll remove all of that tape. And then I'm not going to tape off anything else. We're going to just take the cup as is over to the spray booth now, and we'll spray our second color in the gradient, which in this case, I believe is going to be Stamped Passport. I think I just do a really light spraying of it. I did another version of this cup where the mid-ground color used was a lighter blue, so there was more of a gradient. And I actually like that version better. I will post that one on my Instagram later if you guys want to see it. So again, you're going to really carefully only spray towards the bottom of the next taped section that you just removed. So you'll get just a little bit of overspray going into the previous section, but not much, and still see that glitter coming through the horizon line with each layer. So the next one, same thing. We're going over that third drawn line now. Well, I guess this is considered the fourth drawn line with our craft knife. We'll remove that tape and then go in with our third darkest color. For this one, I doubled up with black and Stamped Passport, so it would just be kind of a darker, deeper navy for that third layer. This was really tricky because my nozzle for my black paint kept messing up. So it was super difficult. Also, my black paint was running out, so I had excess ketones, which caused a mess for me later. I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, once we've got that third section done, we'll remove the remainder of the tape up around the top and spray our darkest color of our gradient, which in this case is black. And we're going to let this really dry before we move on to the next step. I'm going to remove all the remaining tape from the bottom now to reveal those beautiful sparkly mountains from the other half that we masked off earlier. I really like these like kind of light dots in the sky here that kind of look like stars or planets or something. And so to emulate that look on our tumbler here, I've got a Q-tip that I've dipped into some acetone, and I'm just going to roll the Q-tip into a kind of a dot to remove the paint and expose some more of that beautiful glitter underneath. I kind of just did this randomly all the way around, and I love how it just adds some extra sparkle and depth. Next, I made the foolish decision to put an epoxy coat over this before doing my white acrylic marker paint lines. I really could have done those at that same step, but I was not confident in my skills. And you know what? That's what I get for not being confident, because this coat of epoxy really was a pain in my butt. I was using Flynn Sisters Fast Cure, and I really didn't need to do an epoxy coat at this point, but I did. So if you want to, you can forego this step. But if you're like me and you were scared you were going to mess up the paint, then you can include that step. Okay, moving on. I've got a Posca paint pen here. These are my favorite acrylic paint pens because the tips stay nice and pointy for a long time. I get a lot of uses from them. And I'm just going to use this to outline our focal mountains here at the bottom. We're going to do one line to outline the glittery part and another through the center. Just kind of make these look a little cleaned up, and I'm trying to emulate the squiggly fancy details that were in that scarf. I'm just not that talented. I couldn't do all those squiggly lines, so this is kind of like my simplified version anyway. But once we've outlined those mountains, I'm also going to put in some little polka dots for stars through our whole night sky here. And then I'm also going to add this UVDTF. This is one of my favorite quotes from one of my favorite books. Let me know in the comments if you know where it's from. You can find this UVDTF at FlynnSistersSupplyShop.com. I will include a link for it down below in the description box. I also added a little crescent moon. That's from a different UVDTF sheet that I was offering during Christmas, but you could just hand draw on a little moon or whatever, cut one out with your Cricut. Super simple. Here I am applying my Flynn Sisters Artist Cure for our final coat for this cup, so our cup can stay bright and beautiful for a very long time. I'm using about 30 milliliters to apply the final coat here. I probably will not use all of it. I'm just going to apply it like I normally would, make sure everything's nice and smooth, and then I'm going to hit it with my torch to pop any bubbles. I'm also going to wipe off the bottom for any excess epoxy that shouldn't be there. You'll notice I don't tape off for my final coats because I just extend that epoxy down below our initial tape lines to establish the seal for our tumbler. Also not pictured in the video is I did sand the top rim of my tumbler at one point. That's so that we expose a fine line of stainless steel up around the top rim of our tumbler. This is where the final coats of our epoxy will bond to establish the steel for our tumbler on the outer rim rather than the very top rim where it's more vulnerable. So I forgot to include that in the video, but you guys, if you've watched enough of my videos, know I talk about that all the time. Anyway, once this was dry and everything was beautiful, I think I did put 2 final coats on this. I think this first final coat didn't really turn out that well, so I did another one. Everything was perfect. Now we're ready to finish the cup. I normally don't include this in my videos, but I wanted to talk to you guys about this because I think it's a fundamental and it's important to kind of brush up on every now and then. Once we're done with the cup, this is how I like to clean everything up. I go along the top rim with my craft knife to pop off any excess epoxy or scrape any off from the very top rim where it's not supposed to be. I'm not worried about breaking the seal because remember I talked about establishing the seal on the outer rim beforehand where it's going to bond tighter than if we were to extend the seal up around the top. All right, so I'm just going to run my knife along the top and remove any of that excess epoxy. I'm also going to go in with acetone and a paper towel to remove all the excess paint, which I had a lot of in there. If you want to mask off the inside of your cups before you spray paint, you certainly can. But in my experience, that takes just as much time as it does for me to clean out the cup. And I also get epoxy inside the cup either way. So I'm going to have to clean it out one way or another. It's all right. I go along and I scrape off all the epoxy here very carefully. So we're scraping the epoxy off, but we're not scratching the cup. Okay, so it's really important that you don't dig in too hard with your craft knife and scrape that beautiful metal. Your tumbler should look just as pretty as it did when you first got it once you're completed with your work. So that's one sign of true workmanship is if that tumbler looks brand new on the inside and just has your customization on the outside. That's what we're going for. All right. So once I've got all that excess epoxy scraped off, I can also use my thumbnail too. That kind of helps pop some of it off if it's being really stubborn. You can also use lemon oil, I think it's called, that citrus lemon oil. That helps me too if I have some stubborn spots. Once that's all cleaned up, I'm going to spray it really good with some 91% rubbing alcohol on the inside and then clean it out with some paper towels. So I'm going to very, very, very carefully scrape any excess epoxy from the bottom of my tumbler. There shouldn't be any because I wipe off between each step or I will like tape off usually. But if we have any excess, just very carefully scratch it. I'm not scraping, I'm more so scratching and it just pops right off. And then I'll clean up any remaining spray paint and stuff with some acetone or 91% rubbing alcohol. Again, we want to get this completely clean and looking nice and brand new. And then I'll take it inside and clean it up at the sink and wash everything out with some dish soap and water and a sponge and all that and dry it up nice, okay? Just so everything's nice and clean and safe. And that's it, you guys. That's it for this tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love how this design turned out. Let me know what you thought in the comments. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I try to upload every Saturday. I was sick last week. I'm sorry I missed you guys. But thanks so much for watching my video, and I'll see you again soon. If you loved that last video, you can check out the next one here and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for more great content. You can shop our products at FlynnSistersSupplyShop.com and subscribe to our channel for new videos every week. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.